Alright, assembly for chapter 13.0. Get a new file, and we want a standard IAM file. Create. Come up here, you may have some of these, just make sure you're in place. And the first thing you want to bring in is the base plate. Hit open, and I only want one, so I'm going to left click, move over, right click, hit OK. Make sure you put your work plane down the middle. If not, you're going to have to go in and turn on the visibility, and if you have to offset it, but get it in the center. Next one, we want the bearing. We're going to bring it in, left click, move over, right click, hit OK. Go to free rotate, click this part and rotate it where you can see the bottom, and then just left click out of it. Here's where we apply our constraints, and we're going to use mate, and sometimes we use insert, but those will be the two we use. For right now, we're just using mate. I'm going to choose the top of this part and the bottom of this one, and see how it moved my first part up. So what we need to do, on your first part that you bring in, right click that part and go to grounded. Okay? Now when we go back to constraint, leave it on mate, click the top, click that. Okay. And apply it. Cancel it. And notice I have my work plane on this part too, so make sure you have that. So I'm just grabbing left click and I'm just bringing it over. Go back to constraint. Still have it on mate. Pick this hole and make sure you got that axis showing. Left click. Come over here. Left click, get it in place, apply it. Now, come over here, choose flush, choose this plane and this plane, and hit apply, and then cancel. Okay, go look at it from the top. I'm going to spin it around. Make sure your holes are lined up. If they're not aligned, maybe you have one of your parts, some of the dimensions might not be correct. But if you look straight down on it and everything looks good, then continue. If not, you may have to go back to your base plate or collar or any of these parts, bearing that you put in, and make sure these holes are correct. Alright, I'm going to go back to my home view. And I'm going to go to place. I'm going to bring in the collar. Hit open. I'm going to drop that in, move over, right click, OK. This time I'm going to go to constraint, and I'm going to use insert just to show you something here. I'm going to pick that edge and with the center mark, and this edge with the center mark, and see how it moves down. It's like it's too far down, right? Well, I can come over here to an offset and type in 0.2. Just happens to be 0.25 because I just wanted to show you how you can move that along that axis and hit apply. Okay? Cancel it. Now we want to move over and bring in our cap screw. Open. I'm going to put 1, 2 because we need 2. Come over, right click, hit OK. Go back to constraint, put it on insert, come over to this hole, choose the small hole with the axis, come over here, axis, small hole, apply, and I just like to cancel out. You don't have to, but I do it. Go back, insert, get the small hole with axis, small hole with axis, apply. Cancel. Okay, at this point in the book, we are shown how to we can create a part right in the assembly. And you can do that if you like. I like to create my parts and keep them in a folder. It's just the way I like to do it. But you can, look at the book and do it that way also if you like. But I've already got my A block completed, so I'm going to bring it in, open it, drop it in, and I only need one, so I'm going to right click OK. Go to Constraint, leave it on Mate, and I'm going to mate this side. Well, let me cancel that. So I want to choose I always like to choose my grounded part first. I'll mate this side with this one. Make it flush and apply it. Okay. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to mate this side to this side and apply. Come over here. I'm going to do the bottom. And the top, and I'm going to move that over to a mate and apply it. Cancel. And that's pretty much the assembly drawing. Now you can go back and look at this video, and I'm telling you, you may have to do this 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but don't give up. Just keep trying. You're not going to tear anything up. So just keep trying, don't give up, and just work on it. This is the fun part. You made your way all the way through the book, through all the part files, but when you start the assembly, here's where you can do a lot of things, and it's very important to learn this. And we could do some more with these screws with the work plane. See how I can still move those? We could again do the same thing here. You might want to try that on your own. Turn the visibility on of the screws and make those align, and it'll keep them from turning. Right now I'm not going to do that, but that'd be something you could work on your own. Okay? Now once you have this, bring this into your IDW like you normally would. You're going to bring this whole assembly in. Make sure you're in Annotate, go to Balloons, and pick every part that you have drawn on the assembly, and it will apply a different number to it in the balloon. After you have that, go to your parts list and just drag that parts list down here and apply it to the title block. And what I want you to do is, this will be your cover sheet, and behind that cover sheet you're going to have 5 different drawings: the base plate, the bearing, the collar, the cap screw, and the A block. And like we've been doing all along through these 13 chapters, it's going to have front, top, right side, and isometric, or the cap screw just might have a front and right side view and isometric, but and the collar, have those drawings, detailed drawings behind this one, staple it together, and turn this in as chapter 13.0.